What's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Listen, man, I don't get too much into politics, man, but Jeffrey Epstein, man, who was a financial advisor, multi-millionaire, but he was also a child molestation guy. You know what I'm saying? Sex trafficking women to his island, underage women and stuff like that. And also having famous friends that also allegedly came to his private island and had sex with women too. You know what I mean? So the crazy thing about this right here is that Jeffrey Epstein, man, allegedly died from suicide in jail because he was indicted. And the crazy thing is that he had like a client list of celebrities and other famous people that came to his island. And this secret list was all over the internet, blogs and stuff, almost every year. So finally, people just wanted to know, like, is there really a list? You know what I mean? So come to find out today that it really wasn't a list, and he just killed himself in jail. Like, it's all a conspiracy, man. I don't know, man, but it is crazy. But let's look at the news report and also Donald Trump. Seeing like he got really defensive about this whole situation. Let's check it out.
Back with our law and justice lead and Elon Musk's favorite story. A new Justice Department memo reveals that the Justice Department has no evidence that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful people or kept a client list or was murdered in prison. The memo, first reported by Axios, is a sharp turn from the Trump administration's insistence that there was much more to uncover. Even Attorney General Pam Bondi pushed that theory while in office. Take a look.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
But today, the White House says she didn't really mean to suggest that the list itself was on her desk.
She was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
Joining us now to discuss CNN's Evan Penn.
I don't know about that. That she kind of made it clear that, hey, the list is sitting on my desk as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So this is crazy, man.
And Axios is Alex Eisenstadt, who broke the story on Axios. And Alex, I have to say, I'm with the people that still have questions about this. I kind of don't buy the nothing to see here. And I don't know that the Justice Department helped their case. They released this video. Let's show it. It shows no one entered the area surrounding Epstein's cell in the hours before he died. But there's something significant about this videotape. What is it?
Well, here's one thing that some people on the internet are picking up on, which is that there is about a minute missing between 11:58 p.m., 58 seconds, and 12 a.m., the night that Epstein was apparently killed or died. And so
the official story is that he died by suicide. That's correct. What then Trump Attorney General Bill Barr said a few years ago.
Died. And so now there are, it's going to intensify more conspiracy theories about what happened the night of Epstein's death. And of course, you have the DOJ and FBI now, which are trying to extinguish a lot of these conspiracy theories. But that's not happened today online. If you look at the MAGAverse, they're inflamed about this.
Well, I mean, no offense to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, but they had a hand in igniting some of these conflagrations. I mean, in February, the White House invited these conservative MAGA influencers to get a first look at the declassified documents related to the Epstein case. Look at that, all those binders. They gave them binders that said Epstein Files Phase 1. And Evan, at the time, you wrote that this is something of a self-own for the Justice Department. Why?
It absolutely was. Those binders, those documents in those binders, all of that was public for years. And that's what the influencers found out. When they opened it up, they're like, wait a minute, all of this stuff has been out there. And the Justice Department could have helped themselves and perhaps reduce the embarrassment if they had just picked up the phone and talked to some of the prosecutors in New York and some of the FBI agents who had done this case, and they could have told them all of this stuff has been out there. But you know why they didn't do that is because they fired all these people. So they didn't have anybody to talk to, right? And so, this is something that they have absolutely fanned. And so now they own this. And that is part of the problem here. And they've been struggling with what to do about this, Jake, for some time, because agents spent overnight shifts redacting these documents, and then what they ended up with were pages that were filled with blackout.
Yeah.
They cannot release it because it would re-victimize some of the victims. Under federal law, there's Privacy Act. So that's what they were facing. They were realizing that they were going to release a bunch of black pages that would have only fanned the conspiracy.
And Alex, a lot of people in the MAGA world are very upset, very disappointed with Attorney General Bondi, very upset with the director and deputy director of the FBI, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Mike Lindell of MyPillow fame posted on X, as trusted voices like Bongino, Kash, and Bondi align with the official story, many are asking who's still willing to demand real answers. Laura Loomer, who I only cite because apparently she has influence with President Trump.
Yes, people fired.
She got National Security Council people fired. She posted, if Attorney General Bondi doesn't get fired over this Epstein memo, people are going to be so black-pilled. They were obviously hoping for a different outcome. And I have to say, Alex, I find it hard to believe that we still don't know so much about this case.
Yeah, and I don't think the conspiracy theories are ever going to stop. But big picture, this is sort of what happens when you have the MAGA influencerization of the DOJ and the FBI, right? You put Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, who before going into the FBI were MAGA influencers.
Talking about this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now they come in and their high expectations, they were going to deliver, and they came up empty-handed. And so there's a lot of anger about that. And the MAGA universe is not happy today.
Well, after months of teasing the release of new information about the accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged client list, the Justice Department, well, they're now saying that no evidence or such a list actually existed, or that Epstein was murdered. The DOJ saying it does not plan to release any new documents on the matter, and writing today in a memo, quote, there was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged parties.
Yo, this is crazy, man. Like I say, I heard about this list a couple years ago, and yo, it is wow. You know what I'm saying? And now the Justice Department saying there really was no list. He really wasn't going to blackmail anybody. Nobody killed him. He died by suicide. Yo, it's just crazy, man. But let's play this reaction from questions that Trump got a little defensive today, and I get my full reaction. Let's go. Yeah, so Donald Trump, enough with Epstein. This is an article from TMZ. President Trump lashed out on a reporter Tuesday for asking about Monday's Jeffrey Epstein memo from the Department of Justice, and the video is quite awkward. Just check it out. 47 is astonishing. Someone would ask about the news from a day earlier and scolds the reporter for not focusing on the greatest success in America, on the tragedy in Texas. So this is Jeffrey Epstein right here, man, and I guess his wife, Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein, man, he had a lot of famous friends, man. A lot of famous friends, yo. Just said there's no evidence that kept his client list of powerful people or that he was murdered in a jail cell. Let's listen to what these guys have to say.
Seems to want to go away, but is not. The conversation about Jeffrey Epstein and the DOJ's declaration this week that he did kill himself, no one murdered him in prison, and there is no client list. So, they talk about the president having a bully pulpit. Well, the word bully seems to apply in the cabinet room today when a reporter asked Trump, or asked Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, about the discrepancy where she said there is a list, and now she says there's not a list. So Donald Trump decided to jump in.
Yeah, sure. Did I just interrupt? So, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? So that is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering? I don't mind answering. I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
So, I mean, she's just sort of dismissing it, but that is the question was about the client list.
And it was very specific. So she's now turned it into the file.
And look, I get the conspiracy theory, and I get why people would make an issue about that. She can't act like, and maybe it is completely innocent. Maybe she did say, and she was referring to the files. But you've got to know, if you're the Attorney General and you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that each word matters, because people think that there's something
Charles,
being covered up here.
There's one word that is the most relevant word, and it's the word list.
Right.
Because
Facts.
people have been
Facts.
talking about this now for years. So, well, look,
But
let's just
but
play
her
it.
point is, all right, here's
how it went down in Fox.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
She nods.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
So her point is, the list, if there was a list, would have been in the file, and she was referring to the file that was on her desk.
And she said, I never looked inside.
That's
but
the most
now
generous
I'm-
That's
interpretation,
so
right?
hard to believe, though. You're telling me that this
yeah.
this list that's been talked about for years, that everybody thinks has all of these powerful people, and she doesn't take a peek if it's sitting on your. I mean, come on. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, I
But
think we know
it's-
kind of where I stand on a lot of these things, but that's tough, Pam Bondi.
Yeah, it's.
So there's a list that I'll get around to looking at some point.
Wouldn't that be the first thing you would open and look at? Like, maybe I'm just curious. It's crazy to believe. It's beyond like any sort of common sense.
By the way, I know that President Trump very clearly, as you saw in the cabinet meeting, wants this to go away and doesn't want there to be any conversation.
All right, man. Listen, I don't know, man. Like they said, like this Jeffrey Epstein list has been allegedly circulating around the internet, conspiracies, all documentaries, all type of people, man. Like, is there really a list? Like, is there really a list? And my thing is, like, if it really was a list that he had, and he used to secretly have video cameras in the area where famous people go and have sex at his island, I think if he had all that, I don't even think he would have went to jail. You know what I mean? Some people saying that he's really not dead, that he's on some secret island or whatever, you know, living his life. I doubt that. But I think if he had all that stuff, man, it really was a list, I think he really would have like gave that to somebody secret and like, listen, I ain't going to jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to jail. Yo, listen, I told Donald Trump, listen, your name on here. I got the videotape and everything, having sex with these girls, underage girls. So get me off. I don't want to do a day in jail. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do a day in jail. So I don't know. I don't think it's really a list, man. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a list, because they should have flight logs and all type of stuff that people came to that island and stuff. You know what I mean? So, but then again, it's like, man, I'm kind of 50-50. Like, there really isn't a list, and there is a list. You know what I mean? And did he really kill himself in jail? Then there's a minute doing the video that they don't even know where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, they say that prison, they redo video stuff every night, something like that. So it's a whole minute missing in the video of Jeffrey Epstein killing himself in that cell. Not showing that he killed himself in the cell, but just showing the video, like what happened or whatever. You know what I mean? Like who went in there to find him, and when they brought him out, stuff like that. But this whole thing is crazy, man. This conspiracy right here, and now they're saying that it's really not a list. So I mean, you gotta like believe them or don't believe them. You know, but listen, y'all tell me what y'all think of the whole situation, yo. Y'all really think there's an Epstein list going around, or it was all conspiracy? Let me know in the comments, man. Tell me what y'all think about this whole situation, yo.